This is the plaintiff, Trisha Parker. She says the defendant, her ex-boyfriend of 19 years, owes her because he moved out without any notice, leaving her high and dry on April Fool's Day. He also gave her a communicable disease and made her lose her cell phone. All in all, the guy owes her $3,800, and that's just what she's suing him for today. This is the defendant, Alexander. He says the plaintiff was the one who kicked him out of the apartment they shared, and he doesn't owe the pain in the neck 1 red cent. The controlling woman's impossible to live with. They were intimate only a few times, and if she has any communicable disease, he better get tested, because he didn't give it to her. He's accused of not treating a woman right.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome,
Trisha Parker?
Yes.
You are suing Alexander. You've asked us not to mention your last name for $3,800 that you say he owes you in April rent, a cell phone deductible, and $3,000 of that in pain and suffering. Okay, tell me what happened.
I met Alexander 19 years ago, and we were involved in on and off relationships, during the course of those 19 years, but we weren't really in a real relationship until we moved together.
19 years?
Yes.
You went out for 19 years?
Yeah, off and on. He was cheating on his other women. I was always the other woman. I was the other woman.
You were the other woman.
I was always the other woman.
Okay.
Yes.
So it wasn't an actual relationship.
Well, he had me believing it. I really did believe it. I really thought that he loved me because I loved him.
How often would you see him?
I thought it. Sometimes I would be at his house for weeks. I would go out to wherever.
How do the other women not know you're
at
at his? I kind of would notice if somebody was at my boyfriend's house for weeks.
Well, he had a girlfriend that lived upstate, so that she wasn't aware of it. So that when he planned to go, he talked to her. He would run in the other room.
So that goes on for 19 years.
We went off and on. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward it to the time when he moved in with me. Alexander lost his apartment. And during the time he lost his apartment, that made him homeless. Okay, so he moved in with another woman first, and I guess after 3 weeks he was still cheating with me. And I don't know if she kicked him out, but I know he asked me could he move in. He came with his bag and all this stuff, and I agreed to let him.
But then how's he going to cheat on somebody if he moves in with you?
Well.
Okay.
He did. He's a born cheater.
He figured it out?
That never stopped. It never stopped over the years. He was still he was still working before he retired. So even while he was working, he still found time to cheat. Because I can remember a birthday, he didn't even come home, and I had gifts for him. And when he came home, he saw the gifts and he kicked it. I never forget that. He actually kicked it across the room.
Why?
It was really hateful. He'd been drinking. Okay, so. Well, sometimes you absolutely get into a relationship with someone. And you cannot get free. Emotionally, you were like in a web.
Right. Why are you here? What happened?
Okay. On April Fool's Day.
What happened?
I asked him to buy some Chinese food, and he laughed. And I didn't know what he was laughing about. It was, I guess, he had a big joke because he had already premeditated.
You mean for the evening?
Yes,
right,
when I got back from school, because he was always doing absolutely nothing for the rest of his life, and that's what he wanted to do, and he said that.
Well, I could see why you didn't want to lose such a wonderful catch. All right, so what happens? Yes. He laughs, and then you come home
he laughs.
From school.
He had already changed his address. He'd already planned to move. And
how did you find out he was moving?
Well, I called home because I had a person getting my package for me, and they told me, well, Alex is here. And he's got a U-Haul here.
And what do you do?
When I realized that he was moving, I was in such a frenzy. I was where I tutor. I was tutoring. I left my cell phone on the desk and I ran to my...
Wait, you were in the middle of a tutoring session?
Yes.
You left a student?
Well, no, we had ended the session.
Okay.
I left my cell phone right there.
Okay.
And I ran to...
right there being where?
On the desk by the computer.
In your state to just get home and find out why out? Okay, and what happened?
So I jumped in the cab, and when I got home, he was absolutely gone. Everything was gone.
So when you get home and he's not there, do you call him?
I did call.
And what did he say?
He didn't say one thing to me. It's the day he left, April 1st. He never.
Oh, you called and he never answered you.
He never answered.
Did you really leave that house that way?
Yes.
Why?
So,
I mean, you don't think that after all the years of whatever it was, that you at least owe a person you're living with an explanation? Look, I understand. It's not that I don't get why you moved out when she wasn't looking. I can understand why a person moves out when the other person isn't looking, because you don't want the drama. What I don't get is how you don't owe that person a little closure and an explanation, or just a goodbye.
Well, the thing I didn't tell her because she has the drama, and I don't like the drama.
Yeah, I know.
If I would have told her that I was leaving, I would have never gotten my stuff out of the apartment.
I understand that, but then once your stuff is out, you never spoke to her?
No.
Okay, that is no longer, I didn't want drama as I was moving out. That's, I'm a selfish pig, and I didn't want to give her the time of day to have the tiniest bit of closure so that she could move on with her life. That's what that is. It's different.
Okay.
Now, what I'd like you to explain to me is what exactly was your relationship with this person in terms of finances?
Well, when I moved in there, August 2008, she told me she wanted $200 every 2 weeks. At that time, I was just going back to work.
Okay, I'm confused. I think both of you agree that what you're paying is $700
Yes.
a month.
Yes.
And that you agree that that's what he's supposed to be paying, $700 a month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but what she's suing you for $3,800, which we'll get to in a moment, but she's suing you for $700 because according to her, you didn't pay April.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're leaving on April 1st, did you pay April?
I paid her the later part of March.
Do you have any proof that you paid her the later part
No,
of March?
I don't.
Because a guy who is your kind of guy doesn't sound to me like the kind of guy who worries about her making rent, especially if you're moving out on April 1st. You sound to me like the kind of guy who's really willing to leave her high and dry.
No, it wasn't leaving her high and dry because somebody else is paying her rent. The thing is, I was paying.
Who's paying her rent now?
I don't know who's paying her. She's on Section 8 or something like that. She
Are you on
put it in
Section
her
8?
pocket.
No, I am not on Section 8.
So where did you think she was on Section 8 for?
Because the money that I was giving her, she was not paying rent with it. She
Well,
was
but-
buying clothes and all of that other stuff.
But I
And
mean,
with-
you look. A guy knows if he's in a Section 8 house, he's not supposed to be in. Like,
Well, the
yes or
thing
no?
is-
Was she on Section 8, and then she was like, "Shh, don't tell anybody
I don't-
here,"
I
or
don't-
what?
She was on something because she had a caseworker that comes there, and I have to leave. While she
Okay.
sees a cursed caseworker.
Who's the caseworker that comes there that he has to
I
skedaddle?
don't have a caseworker any longer.
What government assistance was it that he's talking about that you used to tell him you got to get out?
Okay, the bridge.
Which does what?
It's a rent subsidy. A rent
A
subsidy.
rent subsidy?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't Section 8, it was a different rent subsidy?
Yes.
Okay, and he was living there and he wasn't supposed to be living there?
That's true.
Okay, and so you're suing him for rent that you're not supposed to be charging him?
Well, okay,
I just want to know.
You can call it
because
rent.
see, no, I can call it what you called it. You're suing him for rent that he's not supposed to be paying you because the rest of us are helping you to pay your rent. You have a subsidy at
Okay.
the time. I mean, come on.
All right.
You're suing him for $100 for the cell phone. Okay, wait. You're suing for $100 for the cell phone deductible. Why?
Because I lost my cell phone due to the fact that I ran out of there running home. I didn't know whether he was taken. I didn't know he was moving.
I know, but
And
you're the one who left your cell phone behind. Why would he be responsible for that?
Well, I wouldn't have left it behind if I hadn't jumped up and ran. You know, I wouldn't. 'cause it
Okay,
was-
right. You
it was
wouldn't
a-
have left it behind if you hadn't jumped up, and no truer words have ever been spoken in this courtroom. Then you're suing for $3,000 for pain and suffering.
Yes. During the course of our relationship, he communicated a STD called herpes. And when I found out about it, and when I confronted him about it, he would not even address it, wouldn't talk about it, or anything else that I asked him. He never communicated.
So you're suing him for $3,000 because he gave you herpes?
No, because I was stressed out and I was constantly having outbreaks. I couldn't sleep at night because he was stressing me out by just being idle.
Why don't you just break up? Why do you go to court and
Because
ask the judge to give you money for your bad
Because he didn't
decisions?
have anywhere to go.
Why is it you got to give him your body to give you herpes because he's got nowhere to go? I just don't get it. How do I know you got the herpes from him and not from somebody else?
Because he was living with me when I
So?
contracted it, and I wasn't cheating. He was. He's the cheater. All his life, he's been a cheater.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if he gave her herpes, can she sue him?
Yes, if he already knew that he had herpes, then yes, I believe that she can sue.
What's the logic behind it? Why?
Because she didn't consent to receiving this, and so she didn't know.
Right. Would you like herpes? Not today.
I agree with her.
Okay, and what do you think?
The same thing. I would too.
Seems like a no-brainer. Going inside the courtroom.
If all his life he's been a cheater, can you answer one question for me?
Why was I with him? I loved him. I mean, I don't think it's unheard of,
Look,
maybe.
I won't judge you. I'll make you a deal. I won't judge you for being 19 years stupid if you don't come into my courtroom and waste my time. How's that for a plan?
Okay.
Okay, verdict for the defendant.
Okay, so that's how this case ends. Step right next to me here and tell me how you feel right now coming out.
I got my closure. That's what I feel.
Right.
I'm really feeling good about that, and that's what it took. I mean, it wasn't a matter about winning any money. It's about getting what I needed, and that's it. And he is.
What did you need? What?
I needed to know that he's just a worthless pig, and he would have been in the street all these years if I hadn't held on to him.
You're still mad at him?
I don't know about mad. It's dogs getting mad, and I'm doing too good to be getting my master's degree. I'm educating myself. I'm not laying around sleeping all day.
Good luck with all that.
Good luck to him.
All right, so come on in here and step in here. And what's going through your mind now as you come out of this courtroom?
Well, I thought the whole thing was total nonsense because it was like a retaliation for me leaving. You know, maybe I was wrong for leaving without telling her, but I had to get out of there. It was too much drama. I had to get out of there.
I hear that, but...
I wanted to go, and I didn't want no drama.
All right, Harvey, what do you think?
Well, FYI, there have been lawsuits where one person gives another a communicable disease and that person sues and they have won.